This is a Sparks guide for Uma Musume Pretty Derby. I'm going to show you how the Spark system works, what you need to be aiming for, how to get 3-star, how to get 2-star more often, and little tips and tricks and things to get this done faster. So the Spark system, when you first enter, if you never played, is extremely complicated feeling, but once you get the hang of it, you know what's going on. It's not so bad. So the Sparks are like a core component of the game. It's actually one of the main ways you progress in career and get higher ranks and stuff. If you don't work on Sparks, you're going to be stuck getting B, B+ basically forever until you get really good support cards. So in order to get better ranks, you need to get good support cards and you need to work out good Spark lineages. So it's basically parents, grandparents, and then it's like almost like you have those as inspiration for your career. So what happens is you go to career, you pick a character, you get to pick legacies, okay? So these are previous runs that you've had, and those runs also had their legacies. So like say right now, if I use Hara Urara here, and I set 2 legacies, when I finish her career, then she'll be a legacy like one of these, and then these 2 that I pick right here are going to be her parents, so to speak, which will then be the grandparents of this one. And what I mean by that is if you go into here and I select, say, this one, it's a decent one that I have, you see that if I pick Urguri Cap, it also comes with this one and this one here, and so I get all those Sparks. So you're trying to build out all 3 of these characters correctly. So for example, right now, what I've been working on mine is this character. I'm trying to get speed right now. I'm just trying to get as much speed as I can. So it's still early. Game hasn't been out for long. I joined a little, like a week late. So I'm just trying to get some speed ones. I got Urguri Cap here, who has speed 2 with late Surger 3, which is going to be a great setup, a great grandparent in the setup. Then for the other one, I don't really have as good of speed. I don't remember which one of these it was. One of these 2 had speed. Yeah, I don't really have a good second speed, so I'm kind of just working this one. And then also you can borrow from people that you follow. So ideally 3 times a day I'm going to pick this one, which I'll explain here in a little bit, but this one has speed 3. So in my case, 3 times a day I'll be using this person, their character who has speed 3, along with mine, which has speed 2. And then if I get a good run and I get lucky, then eventually I'll get one where Aurora here has speed 2 or speed 3 with grandparents that have speed 2 and also speed 3. And so when that's done, what it'll look like is I'll put her on someone, and you'll see the top one will be speed 2, and then one of the parents will be speed 2, and then one of the other parents will be speed 3. And then also I'll get along with that the late Surger 3, Triumphant Pulse 1, and all these extra ones here, which can also add up and be super nice. This is also what determines the stats that you get in the beginning, and it also determines the stats that you get during the 2 inspiration events, which I think were in early March during the career. You get it twice, and so you get additional stats from each of those. There's also the affinity. So the affinity is extremely important. Kind of complicated, but also not complicated. So each character has compatibility with other characters, and you don't really know except through trial and error, or there's a website you can go to that actually has a calculator that you can look through everything, and I'll try to remember to link that in the description below the first paragraph in this video, and you can look and play around to find them all. And so what you ideally want here, so like I might run to a scenario where, say, later on I'm trying to build for, say, Urguri Cap, and I want to make sure that her parents and grandparents in the legacy are compatible with her enough to where it can get the double circle. So there's a double circle, which we only have triangle here, but it'll be triangle and then a circle. And then if you have it really compatible, it'll be a circle inside of the circle. And each of these affinity ups, as you go from triangle to circle and circle to circle, circle, makes it so the stats that you get amplified. So like super late game, what you want to get is like, say, speed 3. In my case, with this particular character, what I would love to have would be 2 parents with 4 grandparents, and all of them are speed 3, sprint 3, speed 3, sprint 3, speed 3, sprint 3, or maybe have some of them also be dirt, and maybe like one that's like, the mile run, because this character has to run mile stamina, checkpoint basically in her career mode. And so like that's kind of the goal for how you're trying to build this. Now the affinity, like there's a calculator I talked about. Something else that it claims on that page, and I don't know because I didn't play this in Japan for 3 years or however long it's been out, but it claims that winning G1 races will also increase affinity. So if you're trying to build, if that's true, then if you got the stats you need during the run, which we'll talk about in a second, you could also try to just win a few more G1 races, and then that will increase compatibility by 3 points for each one. And they can all do the same races, so like each of them could all beat the same race, and that'd be 9 compatibility points, and you only need, I think, 128 for double circle. So you might be able to circumvent it with that. I don't have a lot of experience with it, but that's what it says, and so I'm just going to believe that at face value and hope that's correct. Okay, so now that you have a better understanding of that, you want to get that with as many white bonuses here as possible. They get different things, and that helps out too. Then it's how do we actually roll a 2-star, 3-star, and how do we control this? So generally the way this works is The blue one is totally random. You have no control over, is it going to be speed, power, guts, wit, etc. But you do have control over how many stars it will be if it's the one that you want. Okay, I'll explain that in just a second. The pink one, you also have no control over it, but generally it's going to be something that is with the racer you have. So this one right here, she is good at sprinting and mile. So, and she's also good at dirt, okay? And late, not end chaser, but the whatever, late surger, okay? And so because of that, her pink one most of the time is going to be either dirt, mile, sprint, or late. That's like almost guaranteed. So if you're trying to build that out, when you're picking characters to build out your sparks, keep that in mind if you're trying to get a good blue and a good purple, which could take you a long time, weeks, months, to be able to get that, and also to repeat it, 6 times for 6 total, parent, grandparent combos, whatever. So long-term play there. Then the stat, the way it works, so you got the 1 in 6 chance. You get speed, stamina, power, guts, or wit, right? At the end of the career, it picks a random one, and that's the blue sparks that you get. So if you get speed, for example, which is, let's say we're going to build speed first. Most of you want to build speed first. It's one of the best stats. If not, it's basically the best stat in the game right now, okay? So say you're trying to build speed sparks. What you would want to do is in your career, you want to train your speed to at least 600 before the career ends. You don't have to get to the end. You can lose in the middle. As long as speed is 600, you have a higher chance of getting 2-star speed if you roll speed. If you have 600 speed and it rolls wit, then it's not going to affect wit, and it's not going to make you more likely to get that 1 in 6 chance of getting a blue speed spark. It's just 1 in 6 chance of what one it's going to be. That's uncontrollable. But if it is speed and you have a 600, then you have a 50% chance of getting 2-star. And then the other thing, if you can help it, depending on your setup and what you're farming, if you can get speed to 1,100 or above, then you have a 70% chance, I think it was, 70% chance to get 2-star speed and a 10% chance to get a 3-star speed. So that's how to get higher ones. The 600 actually gives you a 6% chance of getting 3-star. So 6% is still pretty, 600 is still pretty good for getting your 3-star chance. But depends on how hard you want to do. Are you going to get to 600 and then immediately just lose on purpose so you can go again over and over and over again? Are you going to play it that way and just burn through carrots and toughness potions or whatever? Or are you going to play out every career and try to fully get it to 1100 for the min-max chance? And if you're doing the one where you're borrowing someone, you definitely want to try to get the 1100 because you don't do that 3 times per day. So try to do that. So those borrowed ones, okay? So I should probably mention this. It's something like a cheat shortcut you can use early on. What you can do is go to races and team trials, and there's another way to do this as well, but we're gonna look at this one first. Once you've done 1 or 2 races, you can go to the class rewards page, or not class rewards page, sorry, that's I button here above the class rewards page, and you can look at your current class, or you can go to all, although most of these are already gonna have people following, so like you can go to these people, and click the I here, and you'll see I can't follow because they have too many followers because everybody does what I'm explaining here. But what you can do is go down to the list and go to 94th or something like that. And then click that. And you'll hopefully be able to find someone you can follow. And you look through, look, this person has 11,000 A. And you can look at this and what are their sparks. Look at this, a 3-star power with a parent that has 3-star stamina, which really all you need though is the main one because you're going to be making your own. So unless you see someone that's 333 and then you just borrow it 3 times a day for whatever the other, whatever the career is you're trying to get up or whatever. So I don't understand how this guy got 11,400 with this setup. I finished a game once with the same speed and wit, maybe a little bit less power and stamina. I had like 8,800, so I don't know how that happens. But anyway, once you find one that has the 3-star spark that you want to, use as one of your ones to try to build out your own, you follow them, okay? And then after you follow them, then what happens is you go to career mode, and when you go to the legacies, you go to the guest one, they'll be in here then. There's the 11,424 one, okay? So you can do that to find good starter legacies. Like I said, you can use them, borrow them 3 times per day. So do that every single day in order to try to get built out better sparks. You can also go to the friends tab. If, like for some reason, all those are already followed, you can't find anybody. And you go to the friends tab, and then one of the ways you can do it, in my opinion, is to organize by uncap level and look for like one at the top here. That is not this one, because that one, it's easy to get to 50 because of an event or whatever. So you go to, like, say, this one, and there's, a level 45 card, and then you could look to see what they have for star Uma Musume. So and you look at it and see inspiration, and okay, this one sucks. And this is it's not ideal way to do it. The better way is to do it the other way, but if you need to, you can also check that way to try to find ones. Also, if you go to the Enhanced tab and Veteran Uma Musume list, here's obviously where you can see them. But also keep in mind, you can only have 200 at a time. And it's very, very difficult to keep track of which one is which. You can use filters, and you can sort them by rating different things. You can also use filters to try to sort them. So I'm lazy, and I have a bunch here that I just let them all collect. I really shouldn't have. Like, honestly, if you get a bad one, you need to just delete it right away and try to keep up with it, or you're going to get into a serious headache later trying to sort through it all. Like, when I finally deal with this, when I hit 200, it's going to take me like an hour to sort through this and try to make sure I'm not throwing away good ones. So try to keep up with that. But if you do all that, you have good compatibility, you have good sparks and stuff, that's how you get A rank and above in this game, and that's why you want to build out your sparks. It's like a core component of the game. Hopefully with everything I explained here, you know what's going on now. It's really not that complicated once you've got your head down into it and you've seen it enough and you understand what's going on. But yeah, so that's the spark system. That was a bunch of tips about how to do it. Some career modes are going to be easier to do than others. There's certain characters that it's easier to get them up to 1100 with like less difficult checkpoints in their career and stuff. So try out different ones. Try to find ones where you like their career and you think it's easier to farming out the sparks. And also you can test out compatibility, check compatibility calculators and things. Try to figure out which way you want to build. But hopefully it helps you out, guys. Now you know everything about sparks and how to build good sparks combinations in Uma Musume Pretty Derby.